Alright, hey, welcome to the wrap-up video for the Battle of Leeuw in our What If 1815 campaign that I'm doing in partnership or collaboration with Scott over at Check Your Leader TV. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, please do. I hope you're all doing good. This was great. This was an awesome battle. I wanted to stick with divisional because overall, I'm still a noob, and I jumped right in and was playing core level games of GDA. So I really wanted to practice and work on some of the fundamentals of the game, and I think it's starting to pay off. Much cleaner game. There was a couple questions that came up for me, mostly having to do with bridges. I hadn't done a bridge assault using General Desarmées, so I think I definitely need to class that as rough terrain. I think I need to look into traversing fire a little bit. I think the French came across a little too easy, but I think with their forwards tasking as they did, they would have got just as far even with the half movement crossing the bridge. And it definitely the idea of they should have been unformed crossing the bridge should have been factored in. I think that would have been as well, and there might be rules in the book for that. I'm going to go back and read here in a little bit. As in the words of Scott, he always says it's in the book, have a read. So I'm going to have a read after this. I'm still fighting this virus off that I had last week. It's just kind of lingering. You know how it goes. It just kind of won't go away, and I'm quite ready for it, so I'm going to relax a little bit today. I am at work. I'm transitioning to a new position, just kind of stepping back from my leadership role, which I think is going to be a fantastic thing for myself, my hobby, my mental well-being, my family. It's not really going to hurt me financially, so it's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. And also, it's going to, as I think I mentioned, hobby in that benefits. I'll be able to play more, and plus I'll be able to see more with James, because James works just Saturdays and Sundays, and I work every Monday through Friday before, so now it's kind of like there was no way we were going to get together. So now should be able to have some more games together, so that's going to be another bonus to it. Also, I'll be able to get him over here to help me paint some epic ACW guys, because I haven't done very few of them. And time isn't stopping. We're still moving towards October, where we're going to do the Battle of Perival in Epic ACW. So I got a lot of work to do there. But before I get to that, I want to finish up some more Napoleonics that were on my bucket list. I want to be able to pivot, depending on what happens after this battle. I'll show you later on in the video. I've finished up another French Dragoon regiment, so I've got 2 of those now. So that was on my bucket list, so that's great. I've also started another Swiss line infantry battalion. I want to get a brigade of Swiss. They seem to do a phenomenal job in Scott's videos, and they do good in mine too. But I've only got 2 battalions, so at some point I want to get a full brigade of 4. And right now I was able to go through my leftover parts of from sprues that I haven't completed, and I was able to find enough bodies to build another 32-man battalion. So I'm maybe about 40% done with them, and we'll get them on the battlefield. So at some point in the future. Overall, for the Battle of Leeuw and the 1815 campaign, phenomenal. This was a horrifically bloody battle. I don't think, I don't even. I'm just kind of like speechless here. It went great. I learned a lot. I had a great time. I played a lot cleaner game. The casualty levels, when I just calculated them this morning, were absolutely insane. The French lost 3,150, I'm reading on my whiteboard back here, killed or wounded in their infantry column, which was 19% of their 16,200 men plus their gunners. They lost 20 cavalry guys, which was just a small hiccup of only 1% there, and they lost 6 guns of their 72, which is 8% of their Marshal Soult's artillery, what he had available. The Austro-Prussian Russians under Gneisenau just took an absolute beating, with 9,468 men killed or wounded, another 1,035 captured, for a 67%, staggering 67% killed, wounded, or captured percentage rate. All their cavalry, they probably lost some guys as the cavalry screened, but I didn't have them written down, so they would have lost some, but right now they have 0 cavalry lost. And they lost 34 of their 36 guns. I think about 16 of them were destroyed, and then the rest were captured by the French as the cavalry overran that artillery battery over here on the right. And then the Austrians were able to get away with 2 of their batteries, 2 of their guns, excuse me. So, yuck. Horrible losses for the Field Marshal Gneisenau. I know Soult will push across the canal in my battle and head towards Brussels. Field Marshal Gneisenau will retreat as quickly as possible to there, to Brussels, and then immediately probably start heading east or south, depending on what happens at the Battle of Mont Saint-Jean or Mont Saint-Jean, which Scott is, I think, getting ready to release part 2 of his. He said it's, I talked to him this morning, he said it's pretty horrific of what's going on there. So, more to come. And now that I've wrapped up my part, basically I talked to Scott this morning, he's going to finish up his battle, and he's going to do an overarching kind of state of the campaign, state of June 20th, 1815 wrap-up video, and we'll see if it, what would have happened. Run it through his brain and figure out, once he factors in some things of what actually the campaign is it over? Do we do something, is there more battles to come? I'm not sure. I'm kind of anxiously waiting for Scott's battle reports to get released too, so I can watch those. As far as I'm doing, I'm working on the bucket list, as I mentioned earlier in the video. I've got Dragoons done, which was on my ticket to do. Other cavalry, I've got a Austrian cuirassiers regiment I'm working on. They got a long way to go on them. Next up for me is, now that I've got this French Dragoon squadron done, or regiment, excuse me, is to get the Swiss battalion done. So we'll have 3 of them. And then I plan on doing a big batch painting session of Prussians. I'm going to do 6 at once of Perry plastic Prussian infantry. So a bit of a mass production thing. That'll take me up to 10 Prussian infantry battalions, and I have 2 Prussian artillery pieces back here, Perry medals. I'm going to get 2 more of those, so I'll have 4 guns for the Allies, non-British. That was a big issue for Field Marshal Gneisenau. He was just outgunned. He only had 2 artillery batteries against the French, who had you got 36 guns against double the guns, and that really that was probably the most pivotal thing in the battle. Just the artillery really ruled the game, especially over here. Basically, the Austrians tried to defend the bridgehead on the eastern side of the battlefield, and they were hammered by that three French batteries in a row, just crushing them. And then over here, where I decided to try to do more of a standoff, so I didn't get hit by artillery. The French guns prolonged to the left, were able to fire on the units that were back here. The French crossed the bridge pretty easily because it was unopposed bridge crossing, which was dumb. But they did suffer heavy casualties from the Austrian battery that was up here on the hill. on the western side of the battlefield. That thing did. Those guns were devastating. They were probably the most devastating guns in the whole thing. Besides that one volley over here, a 30-minute pounding that an entire large Austrian infantry battalion got destroyed, which was nuts. But sometimes I thought maybe artillery was underwhelming in this game, but really, if you play it the way it's supposed to be played, which I struggle with, standing off and firing, and then using your skirmishers to get out there and try to win the skirmish battle while your artillery is doing good work, and you've got a lot of your units off table and you're bringing in reserves. That's where artillery really does the work, because just the range, and they're able to affect targets at range. And I believe from what Scott's told me that majority of casualties besides disease were inflicted on these armies by artillery, just because they're sitting out there getting hammered by artillery firing way across the battlefield and hitting people before the attacks even go in. So yeah, so the guns really were good in this one. The flank attack was amazing with the French cavalry, putting everything into square, really diminished the firepower over here, allowed the French to get across the bridge. That was the key thing for that. Once they went into squares, they were getting hit by artillery. The French cavalry was just sitting there waiting for them to come out of square, and then in front of them, French infantry just blasting them and attacking them. So they just kind of got hosed. I got to finish up more Austrian grenadiers so I can have a full grenadier brigade. I probably want to have a Hungarian brigade as well. The timely assault by the Austrians coming in and taking this side of Leeuw again. They even held at the end of the game, but they would have retreated out of it. But it was pretty awesome. I think the clutch, I really did great. I think, and I'm not bragging, just I think I did well with control of reserves in this game, which I usually struggle with, because the reserves came in, had a massive impact, and once the reserves were gone and the commanders, especially Field Marshal Gneisenau, losing the ability to bring in more reserves because he was out, that really kind of swung it. I had nothing left to throw into there. I had to pull the cavalry with a redeploy order from the eastern half of the battle to come over here, and all it did was open up stuff over here and weaken that, and then the artillery and more infantry coming in basically overwhelmed that bridgehead over there. So keeping troops off table, decreasing that command strain of your units on table, and then doing key reinforcements. That seems to be, I mean, that's true in the real world, and it seems to be true in this game, and it was pretty neat and pretty evident. It was on display here. So after this, 6 Prussian infantry after the Swiss get done, and then that'll give me up to 10 Prussian infantry battalions. So I'll have 12 Austrian, this is infantry battalions, 10 Prussian. I'll still be at 5 Russian. I have 2 behind me still I can work on to get them to 7. I'd like to get them to 8 at some point. And then excuse me, I think once, and then that Austrian cavalry squadron getting done of cuirassiers, I think that's pump the brakes on Napoleonic painting and then go buck wild on epic ACW stuff. So that'll be the trigger. So I've got to get these guys done and ready to so I can move on to that. So, but that was on my bucket list for the year, was to get all of these Napoleonics done, and I'm doing really good on them. I'm doing decent on that on the Plastic Crack podcast. They've got what's called an OPC on the Facebook page for those guys. They've got I forget what OPC stands for, but it's basically a group, and they have a challenge to see how many figures you can paint for the year, and you get a certain point score for painting them. And I'm doing decent on that. I think I'm in 3rd or 4th place, so I'm happy with that. I think once I get to Epic, because they really gave anything over 12 millimeter, you get the same amount of points as 28. Once I convert over to doing Epics, I think my point total is going to go through the roof. I should hit my goal pretty easily. There's one guy on there, and then of course Dom, who are I don't try. I'm not planning on catching them. They're doing awesome, and they're amazing. So I don't mind being in 2nd place behind those guys. They're painting out some insane stuff. So now that this is done, we'll see what happens in the 1815 campaign. As I said, I want to be able to pivot either to a different time period, so I have enough Russian, Austrian, and Prussian troops to do that. I'm going to go back to the Vittoria campaign next. I've got that hill at Arianez. I'll clean off the table here today, and I'll get ready for that. Hopefully, we can coordinate with Scott and figure out a game where he can remote in, and we can get that. Figure out mostly just a time thing for us. Because when I'm, with him being on the other side of the planet, I'm usually sleeping when he's awake, so that's always fun. But we'll figure something out, and we'll do that. And then basically Epic, ACW, to get ready for October. I want to have at least one game of with James over here of Civil War stuff at Pickett's Charge prior to that big battle. I'd like to have James to be a little bit more familiar period with the rules. With my luck, David Brown will release Pickett's Charge 2 like a week before I get my battle going, so I'll be like, oh gosh, I gotta figure it out. Now I gotta figure this out. Thanks a lot, buddy. And I think that's it. So, yeah. I will turn the camera around. We'll show you the Dragoons. I got my older squadron, which isn't that old, and my new one here over on this side of the table. And it might not be the smoothest transition, but I'm gonna edit in this somewhere. Here's my 2 French Dragoon squadrons. The front one I just got done, and yeah, so that's nice having extra Dragoons. So now I've got 2 French Dragoons, 1 Chevaux Léger, 1 Chasseurs à Cheval, a Cuirassier, a Carbonnier regiment, and then also the Carbonniers of the Guard, I think I have, or the Chasseurs of the Guard, I can't remember which one. And yeah, so I think really the only thing left on my bucket list for the French will be Polish Lancers. I need to do that. I want to do that. It's like one of the first units I wanted to do. So I'll be going after them at some point soon. I don't know which kit I'm going to do. I think Vitrix has a kit. I think the Warlord has a kit. And then, of course, the Perrys have metal. So the real big thing is the lance quality for me, because of my Chevaux Léger for my French, and the lances kind of snap a little bit. So, but we'll see. I think you guys are great, and let's get back to the other video. I've got unpainted sprues of Prussians over here. I've got 2 companies of the Swiss done already, and I've got a bunch more behind me. I found in Mike D's box that he gave me a bunch of Cossacks, so at some point I might have to do some Cossacks, which I'll need them at some point, especially for later campaigns. And also I bought the 1813 Battles in Germany campaign book for General des Armées from David Brown. I think I'm going to use a little bit of my own little creativity on that and have all the battles. They're in the book, but then build the forces out myself to try to keep the percentage difference between each side's force the same, but then make it bigger and have all 6 battles, I think there are, all at core level, and then basically do some reading on each individual battle and play those all as very big games. What kind of thought of that this morning. because that'll be give me a real chance to have Austrians, Prussians, and Russian troops, and some of the other smaller forces of the like Confederation of Rhine. And I don't have any Swiss, and don't plan on getting Swiss for a while. But not Swiss, Swedish. Because there's, once you get into Napoleonics, you can do some really. I'm just basically just scraping the surface. You can do some stupid stuff. Amount of these countries that I'd even heard of that had forces involved. So, and they all had beautiful uniforms, as far as I can tell. So, if you want to get into this hobby and you like a very colorful battlefield, yeah, this is where you need to be, because it's amazing. And I think that's it. I'll turn the camera around. We'll show you the dragoons. And this ended up being like a June bench report as well, including the finish of the battle. It'll all depend on what happens over there. Hopefully Napoleon arrives, and then part of Wellington stuff arrives. Ends up being a massive battle over there at Mont Saint Jean, or Mont Saint Jean, and I'm looking forward to watching that too. So don't forget to go over, keep an eye on Scott's channel at Check Your Leader TV to see that next part 2 of his battle come out. Usually he has 3 parts for his, usually about an hour and a half each, so we'll see how long it gets. And that's it. I hope you guys, it's Friday morning over here, and I hope you're all doing well, and have a fantastic weekend. More to come soon. Next up on this channel will be the whatever, the battle, or the hill of Arianez, by going back to Victoria, excuse me, in Spanish Peninsula. There will be Austrian troops on the battlefield, probably playing Spanish or Portuguese this time again, and sorry about that. They're probably on my 2028 plan to do Spanish and Portuguese and stuff like that, so well, maybe I'll go back then and fight these over again. And any ideas on bridges besides unforming troops and doing them as rough terrain, please comment below. Otherwise, have a fantastic weekend, and keep on hobbying. You guys are great. Take care now. Bye-bye.